What's going on, 80K Sports Performance families? Ryan here with this week's Coach's Corner. And with the NFL Combine wrapping up, we have a lot of people that are excited about 40 times. And that's generally kind of a thing, is people are always interested in people's 40 times, their sprint times. We measure sprint times every session with our athletes. So it's something that a lot of people are talking about and is front of mind, especially now surrounding that NFL Combine. And I think sometimes people get a little too wrapped up in their straight line sprinting times and speed. And while it is super important, that's why we measure it every session with our athletes, for most of our athletes, unless you're a track athlete, your pure straight line sprinting ability isn't necessarily what's going to determine your success in your sport. Because very rarely, whether you're running a route in football, driving the lane in basketball, or trying to score in lacrosse or hockey, field hockey, are you running in a straight line with no obstacles or things to work around. And that is why it's really important for athletes to incorporate a lot of open chain drills and games in their training, because that's what's going to help you really separate when it comes to speed when you're doing a controlled sprint versus speed that's going to translate to your performance on the field or on the court or on the ice. Because in sport, we need to react to other players, objects, balls, things like that. And that's what's going to help us really maximize our performance on field. Having the ability to have that straight line speed, whether that be in a 40-yard dash or a 10-yard fly 10 sprint like we run with a lot of our athletes, that's super important because that means you have that top end speed. But you don't want to be that player that has that top end speed, but you can't get separation when you're running a route, or you can't get by the defender. Or if you're a defender, you can't stay with the person on offense, because you need to be able to react to that person and be able to put the brakes on, change direction, slow down, accelerate, decelerate. And that's where a lot of the games that we do in our warm-ups, in our drills, that's what's really going to help athletes both take that speed from that straight line and convert it to something that's actually going to show up and be beneficial on the field. So if you're an athlete who's doing a lot of sprinting, that's great because you're ahead of most athletes not doing their regular sprinting. However, you need to do the other side of it and make sure that your ability to change directions, accelerate, decelerate, and react to other athletes, balls, things like that that come up in your sport is super important. So make sure that you're not putting too much stock in that straight line sprinting, because we know all of those wide receivers and running backs that come out of the NFL draft that had a great 40, but then their NFL career doesn't pan out because they can't get that separation or react to those things in sport that help separate a great track athlete from a great field sport athlete. If you have questions about how to make that straight line speed translate to the field or court, feel free to reach out and we can talk about how we can help you. We'll see you next.